But I think it would be good because now at least you know like their credentials, what they do. These are questions you ask on a first date, so you don't necessarily have to do so on the date. So, and then you can just go for whoever you like, whether it's a man in finance, you know.
Yep, 6'5" blue eyes, huh?
Yeah, but you know, of course, there's that side where like there's so much pressure, there's so much propping up, but then it's also a good space to be able to position yourself.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Welcome to the Breaktime Podcast, where I talk about love, sex, and relationships from a guy's perspective, as well as a bunch of other guy shit. The man on the mic is a man who might find it hard to breathe if you've got that asthma. He's also a man who doesn't mind running his mouth to his cardio routine. It is none other than your tall, dark, and mildly handsome man, Sir Denver B. And I'm not alone for today's episode. For maybe one of the first times, it is something that I've been considering and I've been working on. But this time, I'm not joined by a man. I'm joined by a lady.
Ooh.
I'm joined by Shirley.
Drum roll.
Yes, from the Powerhouse podcast.
Yes.
Hey, Shirley, how have you been?
I'm good. I'm so excited. Like, I told you I could cry. But I'll maintain. But I'm so happy to be here. And I think I've been asking you, like, Denver, when are we going to get onto it? And the fact that we're here, I'm just so excited.
This has been a long time coming.
Yeah. And, you know, like, you are on my podcast.
Yes.
So now I'm on your podcast. And it's just exciting to see us in this space doing these things. I can't wait.
Yeah, I did promise I would return the favor, and I do keep my promises.
Yeah.
Fortunately. So do you want to tell guys what it is that you do?
Yeah.
In general, because I feel like you wear so many hats, whether it's you handling content, whether it's you arguing with people because of content, whether it is you... Okay, no, I won't reveal the other bits that we discuss off camera.
So, yeah, I feel like I wear so many hats, but I think I've now found one simple way to explain what I do. I'm a brand and marketing maverick, and I actually got that term from one of my brother's friends. It's called Jeff, also such a genius in the marketing space. So that's how I would explain what I do, brand and marketing maverick. And that's just, I do marketing and brand strategy very differently for it to be able to stand out. But aside from that, which is basically what I do work-wise, I'm also a podcaster, hoping to get back into the scene again.
Why are you making it sound like you've been out of the business for like 5 years? Like, you just took a couple of months hiatus.
I know, but I love yapping, so it felt very long. My throat chakra was really struggling.
Looking for your next opportunity.
Ooh, here we are. So I'm so excited. So yeah, like basically that's what I do. But other than that, I'm a lover of life. I love meeting new people. I love making connections, and I love building things. So I think the next thing I want to build is my legacy. But don't ask me what that is yet.
As long as you don't say generational wealth, I think we're good.
LinkedIn language. But yeah.
Well, even marketing maverick is LinkedIn language.
Is it really? No, we started it. They caught up.
Speaking of which, do you ever feel like LinkedIn is like Instagram, but like in corporate outfits?
I think LinkedIn is even worse.
Really?
Yeah, LinkedIn is even worse because okay, I have clients and, you know, I position them on LinkedIn and it really works for them. But I just feel like sometimes it just makes you always want to show up as a person who's always overperforming. And I don't think that's realistic.
Yeah.
Because you have seasons where it's high, it's low, it's just normal. And those are very important seasons that you need to have, especially like when you're growing yourself and when you're growing your brand. the consistency is important. The quiet is important. The boring is important.
True.
But sometimes LinkedIn, it's like it puts you in this space where you just have to find a way to look like you're always over delivering.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not realistic. So I'm usually just like, to each his own.
I actually have a friend who posts, I think, almost daily on LinkedIn. She's in marketing. I wouldn't say what industry and what exactly they
You
do.
won't expose her.
Yeah, but she posts daily, and it's like a couple of paragraphs, photos with like the CEO, board guys. Hadi I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, if it wasn't for the fact that I recognize LinkedIn as this propped up, almost corporate version of IG, I'd probably look at it and be like, I'm not doing enough with my life.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
unnecessary pressure.
Yeah, like I've now been in that position where it's like as in I am posting up like that, like it's supposed to help meet my KPIs. But at least I guess the fact that more and more people have recognized it as that, and they've started using LinkedIn for even more than that, because apparently LinkedIn is also now one of the best dating sites.
Oh.
So apparently
Wow.
people are using LinkedIn as a dating site.
But I think it would be good because now at least you know like the credentials, what they do. These are questions you ask on a first date. So you don't necessarily have to do so on the date. So, and then you can just go for whoever you like, whether it's a man in finance, you know.
Yep, 6'5" blue eyes, huh?
Yeah, but you know, of course, there's that side where like there's so much pressure, there's so much propping up.
True.
But then it's also a good space to be able to position yourself, right?
Yeah.
To be able to appeal to whoever it is you want to appeal to. So
As a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes.
he said it, I didn't. But yeah, I'm pro men in finance.
Yeah, for me, as long as they're not in like accounting. Because, okay, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I've met anyone who's in accounting who's fun.
You know, there's a difference between accounting and finance.
Yes. But in a lot of places they like to loop accounting into finance, and they put them in the same department, and the
Yeah.
finance guys are like, why are you dropping us? And then the accounting guys are like, I'm in finance. So, okay, yes, as a positioning tool, it's very good. As a dating tool, it's also very good.
Wow, that's
'Cause-
so interesting.
Yeah, because you think about it, most people will fluff a lot about themselves that could be fake. Like, there are people on IG who are posting up Bible verses, and yet we know very well. It's not even
We know
about
your
the fact that they
character.
haven't gone to the church. It's just they have never seen a Bible. Even the app itself on their phone, they haven't opened it in 6 months.
Oh my God. I'm
Plus,
an
so-
avid Instagram poster, and I feel like I'm so multidimensional because like 1 minute I'll be posting vibes, the next minute I'm posting a quote, the next minute, you know, like I think it just taps into all my different personalities.
Speaking of personalities and posting up, a lot of what you do involves a lot of posting up, right? So you represent a pool of women that, let's be quite honest, could be causing a population decline
Oh.
on a global level. No, like, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I actually don't mean this in a bad way, because actually there is kind of a thing where like globally the rate of population growth is actually declining by
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yep.
To the point where there's different sorts of studies that have been done and people are looking into why. And you look at places like Japan, which has had probably for the 1.5 million people that died last year, only 730 people were born. So like that's like 50%. Well, it's basically like for all the people that died, only half of them were probably born.
Yep.
Which is absolutely wild. Then you look at places,
South Korea.
South Korea with the 4B movement, where last year I think there were no first graders.
It's crazy because I was actually looking at the stats and it was saying that the fertility rate in South Korea is 0.72.
Yeah.
So that means like someone is barely even having a child.
Yeah. Like, do you want to know like what the sustainable ratio level is actually supposed to be? Mm-hmm. It's actually supposed to be 2.1.
Wow.
Because well, ideally it's like you're supposed to have two kids, because if you're two parents, you produce two kids with the possibility of a third. So like maybe in like 10 of you, someone has 3 kids.
Yeah.
So that there's at least some level of growth. That's where sustainable levels are. There's countries that are in the 1 points, and then South Korea just comes down and they're like, you go low, we go lower.
Not today, yeah.
Yeah, like you go low, we go to the ground. And then they crack 0.7, which was, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was actually quite mad.
I think it's mad in terms of like the population and also maybe like the position of like the government and, seeing like in terms of like, the economy and who's going to sustain it in years to come. But I think for women, it's a very different view. Because I mean, we've been taught, grow up, I guess these days it's do well. And then after you've accomplished everything you need to accomplish, there's still other steps that you need to, or other hoops you need to jump through. And that is marriage, and that is having kids.
Yeah.
And the structure, or rather marriage, the union, the system, whatever you want to call it, has never been one that really is pro for women in terms of
Or assist that process.
Yeah, women don't really, I think women have come to realize like, am I getting a lot of value being in a marriage or even having a child? Not to say that having a child and being married there's anything wrong with that. No, it works for some people, and people have good marriages and they've raised their kids well.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that now we're in a space where people are rethinking about bringing a child into the world, because it's such a serious thing.
True. It's also expensive.
Yeah.
Bloody expensive.
It's like, why would I bring my child to suffer, right?
Yeah.
So those are some of the conversations like women are having, and they're just thinking about. Aside from it's just expensive and you actually do need to plan for a kid.
Yeah.
It's do I have the emotional, mental, physical, all those, do I have the capacity to actually have a child? Because I think the experience for a woman when she has a child, your life really shifts, right?
Yeah.
Let's just even say like, physically, like your body changes, like hormonal and everything, it shifts.
Well,
It's obvious, like obviously your body changes, right?
Yes.
You're carrying a whole human being. And then after giving birth to the child, there's also that period where you are raising your child.
Yeah.
Not to say that there are men who are very present in raising their children, but I think for women, they're very hands-on and it just takes too much of their time. And I feel like now we're in a space where women have the choice to say, not even the choice, the agency to be like, this is probably something I don't think I want.
Damn, like, y'all are reducing the number of Milfs out here, and I don't even know if I'm happy with it. But I have a slightly, can I say slightly, but I have a different outlook on it. I think back in the day, call it 60, 70 years ago, going back, there was a more defined idea on how a woman's life should kind of progress. But over the time, like when you get to like Gen X, millennial levels, it's kind of like you guys are fed a dual dream. In that, for us guys, it's fairly straight. And even with some of the additions, it kind of falls in line with where like our path is. So, you go, you work hard, you make sure you bring home the bread, and you find someone, you get into a relationship, get married, and have a couple of kids. And you can continue to try and progress up. And that's all part of this like upward progression that you should be chasing as a guy. But with women, it's sort of like a dual dream in that on one end, you were told you go to school, you work hard, and you excel super well. You go, you chase your career, and you scale up and be the best at what you do in every single one of those things. That's one. Then the second one is you go out, you do your thing, but then at some point you get into a relationship, you find someone good, you get married and you have a couple of kids. And the thing is, both of those are actually like, in as much as they sound like they could still be in one person's life just the same way it is with guys, it becomes different with you guys because the moment you are looking at having children and like you've gotten married, it now becomes a bit of a shift because for you to scale up and have kids is hard because the more you scale up, the more attention you need to pay into your profession. So it now becomes this gamble of which am I going to give more of myself to? Is it the profession or is it having kids? Because I know people who've chosen to have kids and they haven't scaled up. I know people who've chosen to go the professional route and they're going to take a while before they have kids because they're trying to excel and make sure they do as best as they can and be at the pinnacle of the industry that they are trying to be in. So it kind of becomes tough because there's now this trade-off where if you have kids, you are potentially choosing to earn less. But if you don't have kids, you're choosing more, but now you're also sacrificing for the time that a bunch of your friends have kids and you guys are seated together and all they're doing is just complaining about, like, oh, my kid this, my kid that, oh, school fees or, diapers and stuff like that, which can sometimes feel isolating because I remember I was having a conversation with someone at work and we did kind of get to that point where she was like, I actually have a friend, like we're all a group of friends, we've kind of grown up together and sometimes we meet up for lunch and she's doing great. She travels the world. But when us guys are seated together, she's basically just quiet as everyone is busy just complaining about kids and I don't know the husband and I don't know who's doing what where. But for her, it's like her experience is completely different. So she almost feels isolated because she's living a very different life.
Yeah.
So
I think also as I've grown, my experience with life is that one, it's about perspective,
Yeah.
and then it's also about community and also your partner, because we do have women who, for lack of a better word, they can have it all, in the sense that they can grow their career as well as grow themselves in whatever industry that they are professionally. And that boils down to, do you have a supportive partner, right? Who gives you the space to be able to do that? And also, are you and your partner in a space also financially to be able to afford certain things like a nanny, or your kid is, going to forgive me, I'm not a mom, but I'm just saying, like, from the experience and the things that I've seen, like, you can be able to just take your kid for, somewhere for play dates or whatever, so that you can be able to advance. You can be able to kind of buy the time. And so then there's a bit more thought that has to go into having a child, especially if you also want to grow yourself individually and also the direction that you're going in as a family. So I think one of the things that is changing or making women reconsider as well is also the idea of partnership. What is partnership now looking like, right? Am I going to lose myself in this partnership and in this situation, or are we going to find a way to come together and grow together and blossom together? So I think now women have that knowledge and awareness to be able to now make certain decisions and see, am I really ready to have a child? Whether it's financially, physically, and all those things.
Actually, there was a time when I was on TikTok just randomly, and some lady had asked, oh, would you mind having a kid? Are you comfortable with the idea of having a kid? Blah, blah, blah. And one of the interesting things that I saw in the comments was that most women were actually saying that they don't mind having a kid. They'd love to have a kid. Like some of them were like, oh, I'd love to have a couple of kids. The only question is, with which partner? Like the bigger question is actually the partner, not the kid.
Yeah.
So I can actually kind of get that because now it's tricky. Because now you guys want us to do more.
It's not even about doing more. Even I think on the flip side, like also men should also consider the kind of partner that they're having and the kind of partner that they are raising their kid with, right? So I feel like these are also conversations you need to have. But I feel like these days we're just not having kids for the sake of having kids, or just because we're together, or just because we're in love.
Not
we just
unless
have
if the
to
pull-out
be,
game fails.
we just have to be ready, like, because there's also that aspect for, maybe as a child you grew up with so much trauma, and have you also done the work now as an adult to be able to be the best parent for your child, to do parenting well, right? So there are so many layers to it, and
know.
I'm just glad we are thinking more about it before we get kids.
I feel like by the time you're getting to the level where you're like, okay, was there some level of trauma that I may have gone through that I may pass on to my kid because of how I was raised? I feel like to some degree that might be a bit, but it's just me. It's just me, guys. It might be a bit of an overthought. I'm not saying that it's bad. Trust me, it's actually great. But I feel like it's something that can be done as you continue. Because if you start with the simple desire of, I want to be the best parent that I can for my child, whether it's a couple of years before you have kids, whether you're pregnant, whether you guys are expecting a kid or not, I feel like it's something that can still be done, provided that the kid is probably not there, or if they're there, they're still very tiny and you can kind of maneuver your way through, because at that point in time, your main focus is, ensuring that the child is in proper surviving conditions, so well fed, you burp them afterwards. If they need to use the bathroom on themselves, you can clean it off. Like the simpler bits, not when you're now starting to teach them values, sharing, and so on and so forth.
I agree. Like, I don't think you need to show up fully perfect, but I think you need to do the work, especially when you're raising a child, because parenting is harder than we actually think it is. Like, it's not just the burping and the changing of the diapers. Like, I think it's much deeper than that. And I feel like you can do the therapy as you're raising your kid.
Yeah.
But I just think it's very important to just have awareness of who you are, your triggers, how you're raising your kid and stuff like that. So I think it's a very important thing that people also need to think about. And I'm glad that we're just being more thoughtful about
Yes.
having kids.
Yes, actually, I'll look into bringing a mom for an episode just so that I can hear her outlook,
A
because
different perspective.
yeah, because like us guys are talking about a lot of it in future tense. They are living it, and I'm sure there's a lot that we probably have forgotten. Although speaking of partners, I want to touch on weddings for a bit, because okay, by the time this episode comes out, it'll have been fairly old news. But story ya Patelo Nadi.
Oh. Wow. What do they do?
Honestly, I think their wedding went viral.
Yeah.
And it went viral for, I think I can say, both good and bad reasons. I don't think the reasons are that bad. I feel like it's more subjective. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel like it was too over the top? What were your thoughts on it?
Okay, my first reaction was like, who are these at first? Like when I saw the videos.
You and me
yeah,
both.
I was like, what's going on? Who are these? In fact, I think it was in a limo. So I wasn't even really sure if it was a wedding. I'd never heard of Patello and Dee. So, it was just trying to catch up, like what's
Yeah.
happening. Then now I finally saw them go for their wedding, which actually they had a very lavish wedding.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me it was a lot. It was hectic. Like it was just
What, the
too
spending
much.
or the people?
Not the people. Like that energy was just. It's not my type of energy. And I respect people who have different ways that they express themselves and how they are. But like I was just like, oh my god, this is a lot. But the thing that stood out for me was that they were happy. Right.
Yeah.
And they did it in their own way. They did their own thing. It was their day. And I guess if there was any expectation, it was their expectation of how that day would play out.
Yeah.
And they seemed to enjoy themselves and they had a time. And that's the most important thing. Because, we do know that sometimes this experience of, the Rura show and the wedding and the planning can be so hectic on so many people. And sometimes some people don't really get to have the wedding that they wanted. They probably get to throw a wedding based on maybe societal pressure or expectations or the family or friends, So for me, I just felt like they were vibing, and that's the most important thing. That it's your wedding, it's your day. You should have fun. Like, do you?
Real talk? Okay, just like probably everyone that saw the wedding, or at least like the 99.99% of people that saw it online, of course, like I just saw the clips and it just looked chaotic. Okay,
That's
not
the
bad.
word. That's
Not
the
in a
word I
bad way.
was
Not in a
looking
bad
for.
way. Like
It was
it just seemed
chaotic.
like there was so much chaos everywhere. And granted, like if that's your thing, that's your thing, and it's all right, it's cool. But it was chaotic in a way that I felt like there was so much happening all at once,
Yeah.
all around the entire time. But that aside, I was listening to two of my colleagues in the office, and they were so into it. They were like, "Oh, that was actually really, really nice," and I was like, "How?" So the way they explained it was, they did the wedding as to their liking, as opposed to the make believe pretend thing that is usually done with most people.
Yep.
And it did kind of remind me that we may be having a bit of a change, or we may be initiating a change, whether we're looking at ourselves as like the final bit of millennials and like the beginning of Gen Zs. We're kind of redefining how weddings are, because people have been saying since time immemorial, oh, a wedding is a woman's best day, or some jack like that. I'm not sure if it's still the case,
I don't know. I feel like I'd know until I get there.
but
Because you have bridezillas, you have people who they're just like, I'm so glad it's done.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So seeing that, and you realize that most of our weddings have actually been for our parents.
Yep.
And for like the community. Let me
true.
put it in quotes, the community. Because for the most part, it's like your parents' friends. Yes, you're going to invite your friends, but the music selection, it's based off of the cultures, which are mostly based off of your parents.
Yeah.
Then you look at how everything is going to run. It has to be organized a certain way, or, how do we cater to this side of the family and that side of the family? But for them, and the way I've seen a couple of weddings here and there seems to be like a switch whereby people are starting to take the weddings and they're making it about now the couple that are getting married.
Yeah.
And the Patello and D1, I think, is probably the most prominent idea of it. But I've seen other instances where people will do like a breakfast wedding and it's just them. There was one that I saw, he and his wife, like they did the whole Rura Shaw thing where they did like the first one, the last one, like they did the whole dowry thing, and they invited a ton of people on both. The white wedding, it was just the two of them plus a couple of their pals. They all dressed up in white. They went, they did their thing. And it
love
was,
it.
yeah, they didn't even call family members. It was just them and their friends and the people that they considered to be super close to them.
Yeah.
And it was such a different take on how people would expect the wedding
Weddings
to
to
be.
be.
And I was like, you know what?
I like that direction that we're going in.
Yeah,
I'm so
like-
for it. Like I had one of my good friends, she got married and she did an AG wedding and then she had an intimate evening dinner. And it was so nice because it felt like like a small family and
Yeah.
everyone, so even how like they placed us to sit was just so we can get to know new people and learn them. And it was a very intimate wedding where
Not so much for throwing the flowers behind.
it was
They
so
were like, you must know each other.
we must.
You
Was so intimate. It was so nice. It just felt so genuine, and it felt like everyone was going through that whole experience together. No one was getting lost.
And no one was invited just because.
Yeah, it was intentional, and you had to vibe with whoever was next to you, and the energy was so good. And
Yeah.
after I left there, just thinking like, this is exactly what I want. Like, AG wedding and a small intimate dinner with like the people I love. And I've just always given like a heads up to my folks, like, I'm sorry, you might just get 2 to 3 invites, but I love you because I'm also not trying to go broke, doing a wedding. If I have the capacity, I don't even think I would throw a big wedding because I just don't want that headache. And I like that we're going to that wave where it's just like we might know each other,
Yeah.
but I don't have to invite you to my wedding. Like, we're not that close. But just know, like, yeah, I'm married. Or we stream it for, But anyway, I wouldn't stream it. But, like, it's just that. Like, it's just knowing I don't have to invite you for my wedding.
Actually,
like,
now that you've mentioned
yeah.
streaming, it kind of reminds me of the COVID weddings.
and
They
came to- those weddings
like 15
came to
people have
bless
been
us.
invited, everything else live stream.
Yep. And me, I'm pro that. Like, because why is it on my wedding day, I have like 300, 200 people I don't even know. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's a milestone. So I've had so many other milestones where you haven't been a part of it.
True.
So why is it on that day? And I do understand that there's culture and I do understand the importance of community.
Yeah.
But I also think that we also need to draw a line and just see like, where is it where someone is comfortable enough, to be able to be like, okay, I'm just going to have 100 or 50 people and that's just what I want. And yeah, don't catch feelings.
I can understand the culture side of it, but I remember something that some guys are saying while they were talking about, Gen Zs are tribeless people, and I think you guys need to accept that because, like, okay, during that time it was the whole Mandamano thing, and they tried throwing in a bunch of tribalism into it, and guys are like, no, Gen Z are a tribeless people. And in my opinion, I feel like, especially given the number of years that we've had independence and we've been on this planet, and also our exposure, I feel like we also do need to evolve some of our cultures because at what point are we going to move from saying you're from this tribe, to saying we're Kenyans and this is how we do it as Kenyans? Now, don't get me wrong, there are still some people that are very cultural. Like, I went to an Indian wedding maybe about a month or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And goodness,
You had a time.
oh, it was
Actually
so much
want to go
fun.
for an
It
Indian
was so
wedding.
much fun. I'm actually going to post up the photos later on, but it was so much fun. And the way they split it up, okay, they invited maybe around 1,200 people for like the main
damn.
ceremony. Then the reception was on like a different day.
Okay.
And actually, that was even more crunched down because there's some Indian weddings that'll go for days.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do them
3-4
for like
days.
4 to 7 days. And I'm like, And you guys are still
It's a
okay
whole
going again and again and again. My biggest worry was the fact that I only had one outfit, like one Indian outfit. If I had more, then I'd be like, all right, fine, let's do
Let's do
multiple
this.
days. But I looked at it, I was like, you guys go all out. And for them, it's not like all cultural where it just has to be culture. Like they were gelling in the music because like the reception was basically almost like a rave. And like they have the DJ, he's throwing in like music from
love
different
it.
genres. And regardless of whether it's old school music, whether it's more new school music, whether it's EDM, whether it's pop, whether it's Afrobeat, like they were playing it all. And I'm like, you know what, that sort of gelling is pretty good because it's not like people are like, oh, I don't like that young person music. Guys were still on the dance floor. I was jamming around with people in their 60s.
I love it.
And it was so good.
I love it.
And
I
it
think
was so good.
I think the thing is, like, let people do what they want to do. Like, if I guess this person wants to throw a wedding for like 1,000 people and have it for 4 days, and that's what makes them genuinely happy,
Yeah.
then let them do that. If I want to throw a small intimate wedding with this amount of people, then let me do that. So I think we're just even getting to a space where like people are just doing what is best for them. Whether it's the marriage or whether it's having kids, it's like you as an individual, what's good for you. You're not doing things necessarily for the society and everything, but like first start with you as an individual. Is this good for me? Is this something that I want? Then now you can now start thinking about like the community and the people that you want to have around and to help do this. But like I think it's very important to just make sure you take care of yourself.
That's true. And also this whole thing of trying to ensure that you're not stepping on toes and you're ensuring that you're taking care of everyone for your thing.
It's
Okay.
wild.
Okay, don't get me wrong. It's good to be nice to people. Please be nice to people.
Yeah.
But I feel like there has to be a limit somewhere.
Yep.
We've gone above and beyond and we've sacrificed so much for community that I think we forget to be ourselves at times. So there's some people that will give so much to community that they forget to have a sense of self.
Yep.
And then there's people who have too much of a sense of self that they forget that you're
Get
part of a community.
Sure. So I think
So achieving that
of
balance is probably where
it's
we
so
need to kind of
important.
go.
Yeah.
Although speaking of community,
Yes.
there was this thing that you had sent me about a day or two ago.
Yes. On events,
Yes.
the new wave of where it's going.
Yes. How apparently our influencers may not be the only influencers.
Yes. So basically, it was an article by Vogue, and they were saying that it's not to take away from influencers, but like, yes, influencers do influence you to do certain things. They create content, they showcase the brand in
True.
what's authentic to them. But because we're constantly on our phones, right, there's now been this need to get out and touch grass.
Yes.
Be with community and
like
not
that one there.
always and not always scrolling. Denver. And not always scrolling. So we've seen this happening even in Nairobi. I mean, it also happens abroad where you even seen like guys doing day parties in like cafes and stuff like that with like a good DJ. And I've seen that also being replicated here with the nanny cafes. Day party, which is such a vibe. It looks like such a vibe. I mean, they do very wholesome things, and it doesn't involve drinking.
Speaking of which, which one's your favorite?
In terms of?
Like the parties, the events that you've seen being pushed, like as far as concepts go, which was probably your favorite?
I think I like the day party,
Okay.
right?
Something more paint and sip or something
I've seen like they do paddle, right?
Ah, yeah,
So
there's
yeah,
that
like
too.
it's also it's competitive, but also like they do paddle and then there's like a DJ there,
Yeah.
and it's like just guys just really being present. I think for me that's the most important thing. Really being present and really connecting with the community,
Okay.
because I feel like we are in a culture where we drink a lot, and most of the times where we hang out, it's always fueled by alcohol. I'm
glad
not
I'm not the
against
person saying
alcohol.
this.
I love sipping.
I'm so happy that I'm not the one saying this, because every time I've said something regarding alcohol that doesn't seem positive, there's always
Yeah.
someone who's like,
It's 'cause you
Denver,
don't
you're just saying
drink."
that because you don't drink.
Yeah. So as someone who drinks, it's also good to know that we can have spaces like where you can just go and just be fully present and really connect without it being fueled by alcohol. I think
the
that
idea of a
is
hookup.
great. Or thank you. You're just going there for a good time. There's no
I've never
mambo
understood-
mingi in the background.
I've never understood the people who constantly have that agenda where it's either the booze or a hookup, and you're like, okay, I can understand you going to the club and all, but damn, like, have fun at least.
Exactly. Like, even when you're going out to drink, just go there to just have a good time. Like,
True.
if it catches you, it catches you. If it doesn't catch you, it doesn't catch you.
True.
Yeah, so I think that's what I like. And the other concept that I like is that we run Nairobi.
Oh yeah, the run clubs.
Yeah,
Yeah, people
I
usually
love
talk
them.
about how that's like a good way to meet people if you're single.
Apparently, the bachelors are there. So I heard.
As a bachelor who doesn't run, I can be found in other spaces. On my DMs. But yeah, I've seen some of the clips and people are like, oh, there are so many hot guys, and I'm like, I think I need to start running.
You never know, you could find your babe there,
Yeah.
But I think why it's also, I guess, why people say that it's somewhere where you can find guys aside from them just being hot is because maybe you have a shared interest, right? You're into fitness. So then again, that's a very easy place to pick up from, to be honest, because if I'm having something with someone, we have to have some sort of shared interest.
True.
Right?
Also, you kind of think about it. What more vulnerable is it than, when the both of you have arrived somewhere, you're all just, you're sweaty, you're panting, sweat's dripping from like weird places. As in, you're just feeling defeated, and then there's someone who's still interested in you.
But the sample will still keep it cute. You don't have to sweat.
Y'all that choose to wear makeup, blah, blah, waterproof, you guys need to tone it down. Honestly. Y'all need to start pulling it back. Even when we were coming for this shoot, I told you don't have to wear makeup. Just be casual.
Yeah, I feel like your version of casual is very different from my version of casual. And also...
As we can see.
Yeah, and also, I think just how I've always dressed has always just been... I think because I worked in corporate for so long. So then, I've always been a girl for boots, right? So anything that goes with boots, I'm like, okay, it's a casual one. So...
I feel like most people who've been into corporate are always about their image.
Not really. I feel like how you present yourself, because we've been in corporate, we've seen that how you present yourself really can give you an upper hand in how people receive you, in what you're saying, in what you're delivering, in how people treat you. That's just how corporate works, right?
Yeah.
So if you're presentable in a certain type of way, people will receive you in a certain type of way. And that has really worked for me, especially even transitioning from corporate to now doing my own gig.
Yeah.
I have been able to get connections through just oh, you look good, or and even today I felt like I got a couple of compliments, so you see
Yes.
such things, and we
Yes.
made a connection, right?
Yes.
Which is going to potentially be something that will turn into business. So you see, if
Wait, should we give her a shout out?
yes, I want to say her name right.
Start with the first name. That one's easy.
Faith. Faith.
Shout out to you, Faith.
What's her last name? Faith.
Huini.
Huh?
Huini.
Huini. Yes,
Yes.
Faith Huini.
Or-
So today we
Or you
were...
can say it with a Cuke accent. Huini.
No, she likes the first one.
Okay.
So, yeah, today we were at Daily Cafe and we're just having a meeting, and then Faith, who handles like their marketing, saw us, and she was like, "Oh, you look so cute. Oh my God, can I take content?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, we're in the same space."
Yeah.
And we just started talking about community and like the things that we can do in this space, and we exchange numbers. And that's like what I'm basically telling you. Like also how you present yourself, really, it opens doors for you as well.
I agree. Okay, I guess you have a point.
Yeah.
Personally-
Shirley won, Denver, Neil.
It's because I'm going easy on you. It's your first time. I have to be
Really,
gentle.
Denver. No breaks. Go all out. I'm ready.
Yeah, but speaking of those events, I think my favorite one, granted, maybe it's because I'm a bit of an old soul and I like a lot of throwbacks. I like the Millennial Games one. I forgot the name. So basically, like it's basically just millennials that'll just go and
Or
you
like
guys
the
will do
cookout. Or is it the R&B branch?
not even like
Is it
full on
an
events
event?
like R&B brunches or cookouts. It's like you guys just come and you do fun childhood activities, bouncing castle, like water slides and all. And it's such a fun thing. You think about it because it's like, oh, I'm an adult. I get to be a kid again.
I love being childish. Like, I know that I don't want some certain aspect of myself to grow up, because that's what
True.
makes life really exciting.
Exactly.
And I feel like if there's any space that I can tap into that, especially as a millennial working and it's serious, I'm always down for that. I'm always down to be a child.
Yo, I think about it every time and I'm like, I feel like adulting made us so serious that we forgot to have fun in life.
It's like, it's never that serious. You remember we used to have that quote?
Yeah.
And I actually just always say that it's never that serious. Like if something doesn't work out, be it a job, be it a relationship, be it a business deal, like it's not the end of the world and it's never that serious. It feels serious, especially we've talked about heartbreaks in our 30s, or rather
Hey.
like as adults,
Hey.
the pain. But I've come to realize like it's never that serious. Like tomorrow will always be a new day and it can always get better, and there's always better. So I just hope like also anyone who's listening to this, like you just know that things do get better, and sometimes when things are just tough, like ride through it, but just know it's never that serious, it's never that deep.
Yeah, it's never that deep.
Yeah.
Up until it actually is, then damn, it is that deep.
Yeah, sometimes it's deep, but don't let it kill you. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, because I've seen stories of people that were so so deep and so seriously into, like, for example, maybe their profession or something that they were pursuing, and then it crumbles, or something just happens, and then all of a sudden one day they're like, you know what, I'm done. They quit their job, they stop everything. I don't know, they start traveling the world, and you're like,
yeah,
I thought you were chasing the bag, and they're like, no,
I'm done.
I want to travel now.
I love it for them.
I've spent my life in an office for all these years. I want to travel now.
In a
And they
cubicle.
just...
I feel like, especially, I think this is mostly speaking to maybe the millennials, is we have been, and I was just thinking about it the other day,
Yeah.
even in how I show up in like different ways. I don't know if it's even our system of education or just like how we were raised. We're so used to delivering, like overproducing. Like
Yeah.
we show up knowing that we just have to be productive. If you're not being productive, there's some form of guilt. And you're just like, why? And what I've realized is that what ended up happening was we started attaching our identity to our work.
True.
So when things didn't work out, then now it's like you're going through an existential like situation and you're just like, who am I? What am I? And me, I've gone through so many of those, like, and I just got to a point where I had to now learn, like, this is work. I love producing, I love doing my best, but I also have to also take care of these other aspects of myself and give time for those aspects of myself.
Yeah.
Like, who is Shirley beyond work? What does she like? What does she enjoy? And what are other things that I can be able to do? So I think like and it's even shown in how like I show up in relationships. I
Yeah.
always need to prove like I'm doing something when I'm like, no, I can be still, I can be enough, and I can be valued just for who I am, as outside of just doing and producing. So I just really hope that for millennials, because I know we just go through a lot,
Yeah.
you just need to know already you are enough as you are, and your value is not correlated to your productivity. So, I just hope millennials feel seen
I feel
in
like,
this moment.
yeah, because I feel like, especially in today's day and age, so we were basically fed the same blueprint as our parents.
Yeah.
Where, as long as you excel, you go, you do your job well, if and when you're in school, provided that you do well, you're going to get these results that are profitable. Like let's just go with profitable. And that was the belief that we were brought up with, and it's the belief that we've had. But stuff is so different now in that just because you're the highest performing kid doesn't mean that you'll be, the one that gets the best job or the highest level job or the higher position. And when you get into an organization, if you're the hardest worker, it doesn't mean that you'll get the highest position. And different people are going to come up through different means. There's going to be different principles that will govern whether someone should move up or down or out. And you find that even though we're probably still working our backs off and our butts off, the results aren't being seen as we expected. So the problem is that now we're thinking that we have to do more. It's not that the system itself that's the problem, of which there's blame that can be shared on both ends, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm doing so much. How comes I'm not producing, or how comes I'm not getting what it is that I thought I was supposed to get after putting in all this work? And that's something that is sort of like a gap. It's sort of this gap that we kind of have to close between our expectations and reality. And I remember going for a play a couple of weeks ago, and it actually kind of touched on that. It was almost like group therapy for millennials and just group therapy for adults in
I
general.
love it.
And guys were talking about how, so at some point it was like a Q&A where guys were being asked, what did you want to be when you were a kid? Have you achieved it? And then the question was, what do you think's holding you back, or something of that sort? And different people were giving different results. Oh, I want to do this. Now I'm in corporate. I'm doing this and that. I wanted to get into the arts, but I had to kind of go like the corporate level. And those holes, those discrepancies, those gaps are what a lot of us kind of need to start closing in and saying, you know what, there's this dream, maybe I should continue chasing the dream, but maybe the results aren't because I'm not performing. It's because I may be performing, yes, and maybe I may not be performing, but there's also the other side that we need to start paying attention to.
And what exactly is that other side?
You look at the factors that are beyond your control. So, for example, what the industry is looking for, what it is that, because like, let's take marketing for instance. This one's an interesting pain point for marketers, where as a marketer you're expected to be many other things besides just a marketer. You're expected to be a content creator, a content manager, a graphic designer. You're expected to be a copywriter as well. And those are just the ones that I can name right now. There's probably like 3-4 others that are needed. And you look at it, like the difference between back then and right now is huge.
Yeah.
So, of course, that is entirely beyond our control. The most that we can do is try and catch up. But now you look at things like market forces, you look at the business environment, you look at the government. I don't want to touch on that because I feel like everyone's just going to get pissed all of a sudden all at once. But
Yeah, we said no more rage baiting. Like,
yes,
we're not
we
gonna
will
forfeit.
not rage bait. We won't speak his name.
Yeah. I think it's like what you said, like we're living in times where things are very hard. right? And everything that you've mentioned.
I'll go with
which
different,
is,
but yeah, hard.
like macro, but also I've come to learn something which I think is very important, is that experience is very important.
Yes.
Experience is very important, and also having a lot of patience, doing what you're doing, because I feel like when I started off, like in my career, I felt like I used to give my best, I used to do my best, and just one way or the other, like it just something just never used to work out or like pan out. I've called you so many times complaining about so many things in my career,
Yeah.
and so many clients, and just but I've now come to learn that I had to go through what I had to go through to be able to now be in the position that I am in, to be able to know, especially like what is expected of me, and what boundary am I drawing. Before, I could barely draw a boundary with a client, but these days I'm like, okay, this is what I do and this is what I offer. If you need extra services and I don't have the capacity, I will tell you I am going to outsource that service, and that's going to cost you more, as opposed to me like going over, bending backwards just to be able to prove something to you. No, I'm qualified, I have the experience, you pay for it. So, so knowing those boundaries, and also knowing those boundaries where like, I don't work past this certain time. I don't work on these days, because it's just not normal to expect someone to be working 24/7, because at the end of the day, if you want me to be able to deliver as my best self, then
You need to be your best
I need
self.
to rest. And
Yeah.
and I don't know why millennials feel guilty about rest, but like it's those small things. So I think that just came over because of the experience and also like the patience.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like me personally, I've had such a hard journey, especially in corporate. I have cried tears.
Oh, yeah.
I have cried so many
We've
tears.
had those phone calls.
Yeah, I have ranted. And then it's like, okay, finally, I feel like I'm now in a space where like things are aligned, and I'm
You can make
even
sense of the chaos.
and I'm showcasing myself also in a way where people are like, okay, you know what, I'll let you run the show. But also even like now being in a position where I'm just like, you can filter the clients that you know you'll work with, because also experience shows you the red flags of certain clients where you're just like, this one I can see from a mile
Problems.
away. Problems.
Problems.
So no, not worth it. So even just having the wisdom to be like, you don't have to take every bag that you get,
Yeah.
because I've also come to realize the most important thing is your peace of mind and your mental. That's the only way you can be able to just be your best self and give your best self. So I just also want millennials to know that things are harder now, but it doesn't mean that you can't make it. You can. It's just going to take a bit longer.
Yeah.
And there's no need to compare at all. Everyone's journey is so different. You might have seen somebody has arrived, but you don't know what's been happening behind the scenes, and the things that they've gone through, and the character development that they have gone through to be able to get there. So I just feel like the one thing that I always remember, that I've always had from the past and I still remember now, is trust in the process.
Yeah.
Just don't give up. Like, if you know this is where I want to go and you have it in sight, that's where you're gonna go. It's also good to take detours. It's good to know when to pivot. But also, just like put yourself out there. Community is very important.
Yeah.
But just experience is important, and patience is important. Like, we can't live in a microwave situation where we just expect like things will just happen. You have to also put yourself out there. But like, like this life thing is hard, but like it has its lessons. So that's all I'll just say about it. So if you're a millennial and you're watching this and you're just thinking, well,
Hey, niku moto mazee.
Niku bad. Yeah, we've been there. So yeah.
So can we use that as a parting shot, or
Yeah.
should I give you an opportunity to give a parting shot?
Oh my God. I feel shy. Like what? What would be the parting shot? Anything?
This is life. It is for you to live. And it's never that serious.
Oh yeah, like sum it up. But I think what would be my parting shot? You see, now you should have given me like told me to get a quote that would have looked very
This is why I'm telling you.
intellectual.
This is why I was telling you. You don't need to like script everything. Just sometimes
I'm a
you just have to let
planner.
it
Like
roll off the tongue.
I'm a planner, but yeah, it's good to leave a little.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the 4 rules of like making a plan?
No.
So step 1 is you make the plan. Step 2 is you execute the plan. Step 3 is you expect the plan to fail. And step 4 is you throw away the plan.
Whoa. Yo. Yeah, because sometimes you can plan things and then they just don't go your way.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Oops.
Like 50% of the time.
Yeah. So I don't think I really have a parting shot. I think my parting shot would just be live your best life. Like be authentic as you're living your life. Like just do you. Remove all those inhibitions and fears that you have. Be shameless about what you want, who you love, who you care about. Just
Stop being nonchalant.
Yeah. Please. We're
Stop
not
being nonchalant.
nonchalanting. Yeah, just
We are tired.
really just show up for yourself and for your life. I think that's what I would say. Like it's the best thing. And yeah, do it unapologetically. People will always talk. People will always say something about how you're moving. It is what it is, but just like really just show up for yourself and make sure it's authentic. Make sure it's you. Make sure you're really living your life and you're vibing.
Amazing.
And all those things will come. All those good things.
Or so we believe. Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you. Where can
Denver.
people find you?
Oh my gosh, I do not want to be found.
Okay, if you guys want to find Shirley, come to me.
But
I know a guy.
I guess now that we're back to podcasting, they can find me on the Powerhouse, the Powerhouse Pod on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Yeah, just that's a part of my life. And that showcases just the podcast where we're just amplifying the stories that we're telling, the experience that we're telling, the expertise that we're showcasing. So it's usually Africa is now telling their story as opposed from someone else telling it. So that's where you can find me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, since as always I might be wrong, you can find me on the DMs because my DMs are always open. On IG, it is at the Breaktime_podcast. On Facebook, it is at the Breaktime Podcast. On X, it is at Bugaka_the_D. And on Blue Sky, it is at the breaktimepod.bsky.social. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much to Shirley for hopping onto the podcast.
Thank you. The first lady. Am I?
Yes, the first lady.
Ooh, that's a big thing. Mama, I made it.
And I will catch you guys on the next break.
All right.